Like,
Stuart, this is Jan.
that's Sean.
Could you talk about trust in the process, trust in myself, trust in life, the guru?
What you're asking about is a very important subject, and it's really something I talk about all the time. Um, trust, look, we've all been damaged in life. We've gone through all kinds of circumstances that were very difficult with, relationships, family, economics, et cetera, et cetera. And we build up these walls inside ourselves that we think are going to protect us against life. And all they do is suffocate us. They create a prison which we live behind that keeps the heart from opening, that keeps us from truly ever unconditionally loving anyone else, that keeps us living with impatience and, more than anything, just a lack of trust of life. As I've said a million times, life is the teacher, life is the guru. Not Swami this one, and not Stuart Perrin, and not, but my job is to help everyone that's here build the system inside themselves so that they can begin to open and embrace life. And to do this, you've got to trust life. You've got to trust that life is not an enemy. Even when the rough and tumble comes along, it's one's teacher. It's teaching you that you've got to keep going deeper inside yourself, connect with spirit, and enable that connection with a higher energy, to help you deal with the rough and tumble of life. So trust is a key to it, because if you don't trust, first of all, yourself, then it's hard to reach out into the world and trust anybody else. Everybody's out to get one. Everybody is out to do us damage, to hurt us. And it's not the case. The one person who really hurts us is ourselves. And I always say, and I used to hear Rudy say it also, I learned it from Rudy, is that we attract in our daily life exactly what we give off. So if you're in a relationship that's extremely difficult and the person is difficult to deal with, something inside oneself has to change. Go deeper, get stronger, to where, you're big enough inside that another human being cannot bring that kind of level to you. So what we rebel against and we're angry at is just a teacher telling us what we have to do inside ourselves to change. And that all has to do with learning how to trust. And I can understand why people don't trust. Everybody's been through hell. You know, when I look back at the early part of my life, my God, it's amazing that I trust anybody today. I mean that. And yet I knew that that wasn't the answer. The answer is Stuart had to fix Stuart. Stuart had to build an inner life that was strong enough to be able to have patience, have compassion, have love, be able to listen to people instead of lecturing them and knowing better than them. Took a long time to learn these things, but they're all part of learning how to trust life, learning how to trust yourself, living with your self-worth as a human being. And if other people don't respect it, there's a wonderful positive word in the English, Portuguese, Hebrew language, in every language. It's no, I don't have to take this from anyone. I really want people to bring a higher level of themselves to me. And you're strong enough to say it to another human being with love in your heart, not being angry and pissed off at them and upset and all hurt and all that nonsense we go through that does nothing but drain us of our energies. So we need to learn to trust. You can't just, it's not like turning a light on in a room. It's something that it takes time and conditioning and training and inner work and the development of a chakra system that enables a person to get strong enough to do these kind of things. And I think it's kind of wonderful to live that way without allowing other people's, tension and kind of craziness to affect us inside, where we begin to go into a state of rage and anger and et cetera, et cetera. And all it does is drain us of our energy. It takes our lives away. And it's just another way, I hate to say this, another way of God teaching us how to love unconditionally, how to get strong enough to forgive, and to trust that life is there for only one purpose, and that's to teach us how to get closer to our spiritual enlightenment. It's the purpose of life. Purpose of life is not making money and all this stuff. I mean, yeah, money is okay, and all these things are okay. We need them because Caesar requires them. Life requires them. But that's not the ultimate purpose. The ultimate purpose is to learn from life how to build an inner system that is strong enough to connect with spirit and ultimately attain a state of enlightenment, a oneness with God. And trust is an important part of it, Just coming to the place where you truly understand your own self-worth as a human being. It's an amazing thing. Now, you're not going to come to that place unless you trust yourself and you trust life. And then we're open enough, and all the things we need to experience in this life will come to us. We will experience the totality of our karma, what we have to work out on the earth, why karmically we were born. Does anyone else have a question?
Thank you, Stuart.
You're welcome. Jan, I trust you. You should trust yourself. I trust you, Jan.
Thank you, Stuart.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Does anyone else have a question they would like to?
Stuart, I have a question. Bob Sink.
Oh, Bob, I would be happy if you didn't ask a question. Yes.
So there are times when I find myself raging against somebody else. That the first thing that I'll do, I'll start raging against me. How best and to navigate negotiating with myself and not to go into shame.
not go into shame? What are you ashamed of?
Or losing control and acting
Well,
like an asshole.
okay. So look, instead of feeling shame, say, okay, Bob, okay, everyone. I mean, this is not only you, Bob, it's everyone. You know, what do I have to do to sustain inner balance? What do I have to do to grow inside myself so that somebody else's anger, stupidity, ignorance, it doesn't, create rage inside me. It doesn't create anger inside me. I can sit and listen to them and almost empathize with them about what their problems are instead of getting upset and angry and yelling at somebody and being right. You know, I mean, they're teaching you something about you. They really are. And instead of being upset at them, you should bow to them and be grateful, telling you what you got to do to grow. Their presence is teaching you what you have to do to grow. And yeah, there are a lot of strange people in the world that do a lot of strange stuff. But, our job is to allow each and every one of these people to be our teacher. And if we get upset, why are we getting upset? Why should we be upset because somebody else is doing something stupid? Mostly because it reminds us that we do things stupid and we're angry at them because of that. So I mean, look, I think this is an amazing lesson to learn about living in the world, and that's how to forgive people, how to listen to them, how not to get angry at them. And nobody is perfect, and everybody's going to get angry sometime with somebody. But instead of feeling shame and being upset, what do I have to do to grow? What is this teaching me? What can I learn from this? How to build an inner life, how to get stronger, how to get more open and more connected with spirit. I mean, everybody is our teacher. Everything is a teacher. Like they say, who's going to throw the first stone? Turn the other cheek. I mean, all these words that have been bouncing around for thousands of years that nobody listens to. They've been talking about this since the beginning of time. So there's no reason to feel shame, but there's reason to almost thank the person who's upsetting you because they are truly teaching you something important about yourself. And if you just get that kind of consciousness, your rage is going to go away very quickly. And you're going to say, okay, I can sit down and work on myself. I can build a system that can enable me to deal with any kind of bullshit that goes on in this world. So life becomes this teacher and it teaches you. And frankly, we all need a good kick in the butt every so often, Everybody needs one. And life is a master of doing that for us. I mean, I think one of my things I just wrote, I'm talking about Rudy's mother, you know, and, and anyway, he said to me, I couldn't pay a therapist $1,000 an hour to point out the things that were wrong with him that mother can do in 5 seconds. So instead of being angry at her, I'm grateful. She's showing me what I have to do to work on myself. I mean, we're sitting there and meditating, and she's, it was incredible. And that was his response, And his mother, as wonderful as she was, and I loved her very much. She was a very dear friend of mine, his mother. She was very difficult. She was a very, very difficult person. And she taught me a great deal about how not to get angry. And she cracked me up once. I wrote about it. She came up and she came up and said, "You get your energy from spirit. I get my energy from diamonds." I'll never forget. I'll never forget. And I gave her a big hug and said, "Ray, I love you." And then I remember when Rudy used to give her these presents, this jewelry. He always brought her a piece of jewelry when he went to Asia. I could see it coming from his heart. It was unconditional love. As difficult as his mother was, he knew how to love her.
Thank you, sir.
Does anyone else have a question they would like to ask?
Yeah, Stuart. I have like very strong pressure in the base of my spine. I'm just wondering how I can relax the chakra and release it.
Well, a good little exercise to do is just rotate slightly on the base of your spine. Just rotate. And bring at least 5 or 10% of your attention there. That'll release the pressure, will release the tension. Because all the pressure and the tension is about the Kundalini wants to rise. And the resistance you have is creating that pressure and that tension. So if you just rotate slightly, you bring 5 or 10% of your attention there, it'll draw energy from the third chakra below the navel through the sexual area right to the base of the spine. And as energy moves through the sexual area, it's where the male-female principle is unified. That marriage will activate Kundalini and also get rid of the pressure and the tension at the base of your spine. So those are just little exercises that you can do. And those exercises will help you to activate Kundalini. Because what the pain you feel is the resistance to letting Kundalini rise up your spine. Now you have to work at this, you try it and you keep doing it and eventually it'll just be organic. You just organically do that kind of thing. Does anyone else have a question? Okay, if there are no more questions, God bless you all. There'll be a meditation on, today, I wrote my rent check today with gratitude to each and every person that makes a donation here. So thank you all. God bless you and thank you. Whatever comes out of your heart, I truly appreciate. So God bless you all. Okay, if there are no more questions, there'll be a meditation on Sunday. I'm looking forward to seeing everybody. Have a great weekend. And thank you. Thank you for being in my life and for attending these classes. Bless you.
Thank you, Stuart.
Thank you.
Good night.
Good night.